Ford. He was in Kitchener over the weekend at Ford Fest, and we caught some clips. Our super producer Efron was on the scene, and he caught a clip here of Ford denouncing how these radical rogue school boards have instituted their own willy-nilly policies to gender affirm and social transition children without their parents' knowledge and or consent.
We're making sure we're making the appropriate changes in education, focusing on what matters. That's math, writing, arithmetic, engineering, making sure they understand the fiscal responsibility. But most important is the parents' rights. The parents' rights to listen and make sure they are informed when their children make a decision. They can't, you know, it's not up to the teachers, it's not up to the school boards to indoctrinate our kids. You know, it's the parents' responsibility to hear what the kids are doing and not the school board. I can't even figure out what school boards do nowadays, by the way.
Yeah, you and me both, Mr. Ford. You and me both.
I'm wondering if it would change like his mind in like 2 seconds as he did like before. It's flip-flopping all the time. So we'll see in the future if he's not like changing his mind on that.
Yeah, and how it's actually implemented on the ground, right? You can say all of these things and they sound all good and well as you're spewing it. And this just to give some context here. And I don't know what happened. I'm trying to pull up this web page. So I wrote a newsjack, a written piece about this back in August. But this is in terms of Ontario Education Minister Stephen Lecce. He has legislated new powers to himself, which, you know, is always kind of a risky thing. I don't agree that heavy-handed legislation should be necessary, but in certain instances, and in terms of these rogue school boards, it may be necessary. But it's called the Better Schools and Student Outcomes Act, and it's supposed to increase transparency and accountability of the school boards. So if you scroll down a little bit on that page, there's a tweet embedded from Stephen Lecce himself. We're following through on our commitment to parents, back to basics in the classroom, accountability on school boards, and empowering the voices of parents, right? Because last year's school year, we saw parents like Nick Marabito in Ottawa, who was saying like any boy who can come in and just all of a sudden arbitrarily decide, I'm a female, I'm a woman, and can use the bathroom with my daughters, this gives me grave safety concerns for my children. And when he was expressing his concerns over this policy and how it could be maybe better applied, or if there was a gender-free washroom, but still the girls' washroom and the boys' washroom that are specific to male and female, and then maybe you have a third option, which I believe the school does have, that one specific to anybody who wants to be gender fluid or non-binary or whatever it is that they want to identify with. And that could be a changing fluid thing from day to day. And he was actually cut off and silenced by, we know, this radical school trustee, Nellie Kaplan-Murr. And so it's instances like this where parents have legitimate concerns, like pornographic content being found in their school libraries for young grade school children. The surveys that are being instituted by the school boards being put forward in the school system, unbeknownst again to parents, without their knowledge, without their consent. When parents raise these concerns, they're labeled far-right, misogynist, transphobes. And so this, I think, if you read between the lines on some of what the government's putting forward, was a way to try to increase, as they say, the accountability and the transparency, and empower the voices of parents to actually be heard and play at that role again in their children's education. So we'll see how it actually gets instituted on the ground.
The wellness company Spike Support Formula is an all-natural supplement to help the people experiencing effects from COVID and the you-know-what. Go to twccanada.health/rebel today.